So I think the ambition that we bring is the same ambition that we've brought for 100 years, which is to do the very best science that we can as Australia's national research agency, to be informing public policy and the discussions around climate, to be working with industry to develop innovative solutions. But I think what we bring this time is some extra fire in our belly, because we know from the science that we're doing and from the climate modelling that we're producing just what the extent of the challenge is that we're facing. And so we've got IPCC 6 coming up. We've got our early results that we know are feeding into IPCC 6, and we know the scale of the problem that we're confronted with. And so I think really the fire in the belly comes from understanding just the extent of the problem, the fact that we know that we have to transform our economy, we have to transform industry, we have to come up with new technologies and solutions. Human behaviour doesn't change quickly enough, so that kind of technical innovation is critical. And really the work that we're doing is all aimed at kind of harnessing that energy and focusing on solutions. So technology is absolutely fundamental to addressing the problem. We know that human behaviour doesn't change quickly enough, that we're going to see the right levels of behavioural change, and so technology is fundamental to the solutions. I think the challenge that we've got though is to make sure people aren't threatened by technological solutions. We hear a lot about the concerns around artificial intelligence, for example. Sometimes the word innovation even scares people a little bit because they worry that their jobs are at risk. And so the technology, whilst it's critical, has to be introduced appropriately. People have to understand the benefits of it. And ultimately, I think the integral role or the critical role of technology is just a huge part of the solution. We absolutely cannot be siloed in our approach to tackling the problem. The benefits of working across sector is that people understand shared problems and shared challenges. What might be an innovation in one sector can very readily be applied to another sector if only we know the challenges that different sectors are grappling with. We're doing quite a lot of work in Australia at the moment, for example, around a new cooperative research centre which is focused on the blue economy. It's focused on moving aquaculture offshore, but it's also focused on developing the renewables that will help supply that offshore aquaculture, for example. And so this is a great example where we've got government investment, we've got industry investment, both in terms of aquaculture, but also in terms of offshore renewables, harnessing kind of the collective enthusiasm and the collective energy to address questions that are not only related to climate change, but to energy security, to food security, to environmental protection and in improving the environmental impacts of aquaculture, for example. And so really addressing a whole lot of the sustainable development goals and bringing that energy together from right across different sectors. The summit is fantastic because it helps bring together all of the people from across different sectors. So whether it's different industry sectors, whether it's NGOs, whether it's government, whether it's science and research, they all have lessons to learn from each other. Sometimes as a research agency, there can be a tendency to be doing our science and then throwing it over the fence in the hope that it's useful to somebody. We actually really want to not be doing that. We want to be closely engaging with industry, understanding the problems that industry have that they're trying to solve, and then making sure that our science is developing and delivering on those very specific questions. Similarly, it's not always the case that industry know what's possible because of the science that's being done. And so if we don't get the different sectors together, if people aren't talking to each other and actually also learning a shared language, because You know, the finance sector talks a different language to the scientists, and the scientists talk a different language to government and to the regulators. And so the only way we can really start to evolve a common language, to understand each other, to understand how we think and what our pressure points are, then we won't make the kinds of advances that we need to.